So just stay tuned to the website as we update everything for here and in the UK. In any case, thank you, Eric. Thank you, Karen, for holding the space. It's so wonderful to see all of you here. Welcome to those of you who are new into this space. Just relax. It's we're gonna end up somewhere. I love starting with music. More and more. I'm a music person. I'm a musician. I'm a vocalist. You know, and there's so much medicine in music. So yeah. And so tonight, we'll do our usual thing. We're going to change up the mantra practice just a little bit. We're going to just be focusing on the first mantra. Om Lasange Kino Soha. As we get into the practice. And if you're new, this is a guided practice. So, just like, again, just relax. And this is really one of the highest teachings in the tradition, is to relax. There's no way to achieve this level of liberation that we're aiming towards getting rigid and uptight and anxious or controlling or domineering. To let go of expectations is actually how you enter into the door of freedom, right? To really ultimately get free, you have to even let go of your desire to get free, right? When we say you have to give up everything, everything must be given up, right? So liberation is a very costly endeavor. And you have to be willing to offer, you have to be willing to let go of everything to enter into that final experience of liberation, right? You have to give up everything to get everything. It's very much like one of the most politically incorrect movies of the 80s, but really the 80s, was full of politically incorrect movies, actually. Politically incorrect movies that you don't see playing, on the streaming services for good reason. But one of the movies that I grew up watching was not Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor movie called what was it called? Not Dirty Money. It's so funny, it just really skipped my mind. But it's a Richard Pryor movie where Brewster's Millions is the name of Brewster's Millions. And I love that. I love that movie growing up. I have some political critiques of it now, but but in the movie, Richard Pryor, plays this kind of down and out, kind of like, I don't know, he does something for like a minor league baseball team. He doesn't have much. And he discovers that he has this white, wealthy uncle, who's left him like a lot of money. And the stipulation for getting the whole inheritance is that he has to spend like $30 million in a month. And at the end of the month, he can't own anything, right? So, but nor can he just give it away. So he has to spend all that money on something, and whatever he spends the money on, he can't own anything at the end of the 30 days. And if he can spend all of that money and not own anything, he gets the rest of the fortune. The idea is that he's trying to, his uncle wants him to get sick of the money, because at the end of his life, his uncle realized that being super wealthy was suffering. So he's going to pass his money on to Richard Pryor and get him sick of it so he can actually practice generosity with the money. And so he goes through the whole movie. Of course, there are like villains in the movie who like are trying to trick him. Like the bank that holds all the money is trying to trick him. And so at the end, the bank's like, oh my God, you own something. You can't get the rest of the inheritance. Looks like we have to keep it, you know? And then he has this accountant who becomes the love interest, who at like the last 30 seconds of that month writes him a receipt or something, which like wipes out the ownership of that thing. And then he gets all the money, right? I tell that long story first, well, simply because I wanted to tell the story. Secondly, this is a captive audience. I mean, you can just, you know, dial off and go do something else. And well, but third, this is really the point here. Thirdly, is that, you know, it demonstrates this idea that like you first have to be willing to like give up everything to get to the end of this. Everything you think you are, everything you think you knew, all of that has to be offered to the path, right? And secondly, you have to be sick and tired of being sick and tired, right? Not only are you giving up everything, you have to be finished with all this bullshit, right? And so when I often talk about like you have to choose freedom, some of you struggle with that because you're so attached, you know, like you don't understand that in order to get everything, you have to let go of everything, right? And that means there has to be a level of faith and trust here. Like you have to be willing to enter into this intense labor, knowing that you're going to have to lose everything. And once you lose everything, then that final door to liberation opens, right? And that's that's the Lonesome Valley work. It's like to enter into the Lonesome Valley and to say, you know what, I have no idea what's going to happen, right? But I know that my aspiration, my goal is freedom, is to get free, is to transcend these dualities, these binaries, right? And that's the courage that we're trying to awaken, not only in our liberation, but in our healing work. Can you go all the way? Right? I can only do what I do with Medicine Buddha because I learned that in order for me to really experience the kind of healing that I need to see, I had to learn how to go all the way. I had to learn how to fall completely, utterly into practice, right? And I had to let go of any concerns about getting to the other side of anything, right? Fearlessness is how you really activate this path. You know, that fearlessness is also the energy of the wrathful beings, of the Dharma protectors, that like that energy that's just like, it's all or nothing, right? It's all or nothing. That audacity, that tenacity, whatever, you know, like you have to embody that staunchness that I will not give up, right? If I have to let go of everything, I will let go. Because really the things that you're letting go are first things that you don't need, or even more possibly things that will actually return back to you once you have disrupted that intense fixation and attachment. So anyway, I just wanted to share that, you know, as we begin our medicine work tonight. And I want to hopefully save some time at the end for a few questions for those of you who have those questions. But first, I would like to just offer a candle as well. So illuminating our practice, the flame which represents the awareness, the energy of our minds to get clear, to experience the deepest clarity, wisdom, to know how to choose what is liberatory and how to let go of what isn't liberatory. And I offer this to all of us, all beings who are struggling to get clear, right? Who are struggling to make the choices to reduce suffering, to reduce violence. And I offer it even more specifically for those of you, those of us who are deep in caretaking roles for others, right? Um, who are caretaking children, caretaking aging parents, who are caretaking beloveds and friends, you know, or you're just caretaking yourself, and that's a full-time job, and I hear that, you know. But for all the caretakers, you know, whose labor is so often unnoticed and unappreciated, right? This candle, this light is for you, and I offer deep appreciation to the lands on which I was born, the lands on which were originally caretook by the Creek, Cherokee, and Muskogee people, to the consciousness of the land, to the vibrancy, awareness of the elements, to the unseen world. So all the elements of our practice, both formless and form, they're trying to get us free. We offer this light. We offer this also to the great lineage of healers that we are evoking as we begin to make our way to the feet of the Minla Sangye, the great medicine Buddha, the great healer. Honoring medicine Buddha, but also honoring their entourage, all the healing spirits and beings who have chosen the light, who have chosen the great work of liberation. All these great healing beings who accompany Medicine Buddha, we welcome you. I welcome the healing spirits of your ancestors, wherever your people are from, wherever your people created culture, created their history, wherever those lands are, I evoke and invite those beings still concerned with healing, still concerned with the liberation of your people. I invite them into this space as well. I invite the grandmothers and the grandfathers, all the ancestors into this space. And I particularly evoke those ancestors who are here to offer support, to offer their medicine. I make space for them in our practice so that you may have a deeper connection with those beings. We make space and invite all the teachers, all the benefactors who are trying to get us free, who are loving us into freedom. We invite them. And I invite you as well. I invite you to call yourself into this sacred space, into this healing circle. Call yourself from the past. Let go of the past. I call you from the future. Let go of the future. The only door to liberation is the present moment, is this moment, and this moment, and this moment. Call yourself into the sacred circle of this moment. And noticing where you are, noticing the space that's holding you, noticing the room, the home that you're in, offering deep appreciation to the protection of your space, the way your space, your home, this room, your house, your apartment, wherever you are, honoring the ways in which your home is caring for you. noticing this tenderness, noticing the weight of your body as the seat rises to hold you, letting the seat hold you, all noticing and acknowledging that the seat holding you is such a sweet expression of care. Will you let yourself be held? Can you surrender to the care of the seat? And again, where is your body? Can you allow your body just to show up naturally, noticing both the discomfort and the comfort that we experience, and responding to these experiences, not just reacting, but responding by actually choosing to acknowledge what's arising and then choosing to offer yourself care, whatever that care looks like, be it adjusting, be it getting more comfortable, be it just anything that meets the needs of your body in this moment. And keep showing up to your body, offering care. If your body needs to move, let your body move. If you need to be reclined, reclined. And where's your breath? Is your breath happening in this moment? And you don't have to change anything, just noticing, okay, here's my breath. That's all we're doing. Here's my breath. Here's the in breath. Here's the out breath. If you're not working with your breath, then that's fine too. Return back to something that feels more grounding, tangible, neutral. But just letting your breath be, noticing that the breath is also an extension of the body. And like our bodies, our breath, our respiratory system, our lungs can carry so much suffering, so much trauma. Not just our trauma, but the trauma of all those who came before us, all the ancestors who lived difficult lives, who survived so much tragedy, or those ancestors who never got the opportunity to really make the choices to be their most authentic self. We carry their disappointment in our breath. And as I breathe and inhale in, I touch into that disappointment, which is a shared collective disappointment. I breathe into it. And as I exhale, I imagine releasing that suffering out to dissipate into the space around us and you. Breathing in, acknowledging that pain, exhaling, releasing. And as we release, we continue to honor the lives of the ancestors. And particularly honoring the lives of those ancestors who really tried to love, who really tried to do the work of healing, who really tried to do everything that they could to make sure we had a different life. May the pain and the harm of all those who've come before us, may that energy, that suffering be healed. And just as we pray at the end of each session, may we become the medicine. May we become the medicine that all beings need. May we become the medicine that our ancestors need. May we become the medicine the collective needs. May we become the medicine the earth needs. May we become the antidote to hatred, despair, and delusion. You'll never become the medicine until you have the courage to consent to becoming the medicine. May I become the medicine. Don't think about it. Don't let your imaginations run all over the place. You're not going to turn into a bottle of Pepto-Bismol or NyQuil, even though some of you are sweeter than those medicines. And not only may you become the medicine, may you become the sugar that makes the medicine go down. There is power in the gentleness and the sweetness of offering medicine. It doesn't always have to be so rough. I know some of us like it rough. It can be sweet sometimes. And may I become the sweetness to smooth out the aftertaste of bitter medicine. May I become the sweetness that helps the medicine to go down. And then what of the mind? What of thoughts and emotions? But more than thoughts and emotions, the mind is everything. The consciousness, the awareness, the energy that is aware, that knows. Energy that creates, but also energy that dissolves. Energy that has agency. The mind always in this cycle of creating, sustaining, and then dissolving. And then how that cycle picks up again. Like Vishnu, always dancing, always creating, sustaining, and then letting everything just dissolve. And starting the sacred dance again. That is the nature of the mind. Just noticing the cycles, creating, sustaining, dissolving, creating, sustaining, dissolving. Where are you at in this cycle of creating, sustaining, dissolving? Letting go of reacting, which is the work of sustaining, and just allowing our awareness just to open, to expand, breaking open like a boundless, borderless ocean, clear, spacious, fluid, rolling. What does it mean for you in this moment to allow the mind to rest? What does it mean to transition the busyness of perception and noticing, resting that and allowing awareness just to expand and open to just to hold everything that's rising and falling, coming and going, to disrupt the ways in which we're being consumed by the phenomenal world. And switching that around so that we begin to consume the phenomenal world by just holding space for everything that arises. That we begin to consume the chaos instead of the chaos consuming us. Let the minds be. The mind has always been awakened, but our own awareness has been disconnected from that awakened state. And so let our awareness expand back into the boundless nature of our minds, the space, the emptiness, letting phenomena dissolve back into this fundamental energy that sometimes we call luminosity. Let the sharpness of the carceral states called samsara, let it dull itself back into softness, into fluidity, into movement. Let this sense of self, let this sense of ego that we're always desperately trying to keep together, just let it have its space. Let I, or me, just simply be. And in this holding, in this space, the essence, of Medicine Buddha awakens, which is the same essence of all the Buddhas. This awakened consciousness, this consciousness that knows, this consciousness that is free, that is no longer bound by the rigidity of the self. This consciousness that is nothing but an expression of the most profound love and care for all beings. Letting Medicine Buddha awaken from the spaciousness, the emptiness of your own mind. Noticing how Medicine Buddha is awakening for you, even if you're brand new to this practice. What are you experiencing? What are you noticing? And then as Medicine Buddha arises, we begin to hear one of Medicine Buddha's songs, one of their musics. And there's a sweetness to this. And this mantra, Om Minla Sange Kino Soha. We begin to softly, sweetly sing this as if imagining that from the depths of our minds, Medicine Buddha begins to lift, begins to make themselves known along with the retinue of healing spirits and beings. And just allowing the presence of Medicine Buddha to simply awaken, just to be with you, to sit with you, to arise within you, to arise around you, not thinking about it, not anxious about it, not searching for anything, but just being here. Letting the sweet mantra invite us into a deeper kind of awakening. Om La Sangye Kino So 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 no. So no. So 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 no. So Sange Kindo. 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 So Kindo. So 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 Ino, so, ua, o, e, ino, so, o, ino, so, ua, you know, oh, ah. With the toning of these chimes, I call again the attention of all the Buddhas, all the Bodhisattvas, all of the Yidams, the Dharma protectors, all beings of light, all energies of healing and restoration. I call the new saints into this space. And we offer these prayers. These prayers have been offered by our community to you who can hold these prayers and begin to work on behalf of all of us to bring about what we are most deeply needing to see. We begin by offering prayers for Alex, who is with COVID today. And we're praying for spaciousness, a spacious and restful recovery, for deep healing for all beings who are struggling with COVID in this moment. Offering prayers for Megan, who is almost finished with the 49 days in embargo after a horrible and violent death. May she find a fortunate rebirth and let go of the pain of the past. Offering prayers for my partner Ro, who is hurting so much that prayers for my partner Ro, they are hurting so much, but they are so strong and so loving. Offering prayers for Helen as she prepares to bring another soul into the world. May her delivery be as comfortable as possible, and may Lewis have a happy and healthy family to love. Offering prayers of healing and balance for Shannon, creator of Nourish Yoga, for chronic illness warrior. She is sick with COVID for the first time. May she experience deep healing. Offering prayers for A and her health, prayers for LD and E, prayers that I continue on my journey towards health, liberation, and communal well-being. Prayers for prayers for all my beloveds who are suffering and all those suffering in the world and beyond. Prayers of gratitude for the support I have received through my health journey. Prayers of gratitude for my beloveds who have been open to who I am becoming. Offering prayers for peace and compassion. Offering prayers for all beloveds who are holding me, those I know and those I don't know of. Prayers for Ron, his knee and his heart. We're all walking each other home. Prayers for my sister recovering from illness. Prayers that I can heal from this 3-week COVID beast and get over bronchitis. Please let it not worsen my chronic conditions. Prayers for all who are working the ER. Offering prayers to my beloved ones who've experienced loss of their loved ones, both recent and past. May we experience abundance, care, and support for collective grief and gratitude, offering prayers for those suffering with and who have become disabled by COVID, offering prayers that I am able to get beyond survival and able to sustain myself and my community with a new stable job, income, and support, offering prayers for my beloved Toby, my loving Chihuahua who passed away on Earth Day, offering prayers for MCB who is recovering from COVID. May they heal quickly without getting long COVID. Prayers for the people of Gaza and Palestine, Ukraine, Yemen, the Congo, Sudan, and anyone experiencing oppression, grief, heartbreak, and loneliness. May the Israeli government and people heal from the collective trauma, causes, and conditions so they can stop the genocide. Prayers to my sweet darling El, a big-hearted angel caught between familiar obligations and pulls towards his home country and calls of the spirit for his art. May he find peace in a calm nervous system for anyone who feels they have to do everything and are never satisfied. Offering prayers for my upcoming stem cell transplant, plant prayers for M and R, may they experience healing and freedom. Offering prayers that I surrender to divinity completely at all moments. Offering prayers for my primary and I as we attempt to navigate our continued healing from childhood trauma. And offering prayers for my health and the health of my family, Jen, Leah, Abby, and Tom. Prayers for me as I continue through an extended and jarring transition. May my upcoming trip help reset my perspective. Prayers for those suffering from and fighting against injustice. May we know peace. Offering prayers for myself. I'm struggling not to worry about my girl eating so little. We have support, but I worry. I'm also looking for work and divorcing during this time. Offering prayers for Yoi, who's beginning a first attempt at sobriety late in his life. Offering prayers for Brufu, who's preparing to fight cancer again. Offering prayers for AG's housing and financial stability. Prayers for liberation from entanglements of the past. Prayers for all neurodivergent, queer, large-hearted teens navigating this complicated and narrow world we have made. Prayers for Chloe and her grieving and her mother who just entered the bardo. Prayers for all people suffering the violence of wars and of genocide and destruction of homelands. Offering prayers for all the brokenhearted. Offering prayers for my dear husband, Zachary, who is dealing with the pain of addiction, and prayers for his healing so that he may better serve others. Prayers that I'm able to leave my soul suffocating job and get the job that I most recently applied to at Spelman, and that I lean into being more confident, being seen. Prayers for Savannah and her travel delays. May she make it home tonight. Prayers of love, tenderness to this community and to the earth. Prayers for my beloved family as we all navigate anxiety, depression, brokenheartedness, and other challenges. Prayers for my beloved brother and his wife as she continues to fight cancer. Prayers for my beloved son as he starts graduate school and adulthood in a new and real way. Prayers for my beloved dad as he recovers from illness. Prayers for my body to heal at this stage of my life, the ability to let go of what that looks like. For the children returning to school, may they find safety for their souls and spirits. Offering prayers for my brother Patrick, offering many prayers for the incarcerated men, may they find their own freedom. Offering prayers for Diane as she grieves the death of her dear cat. Offering prayers for Dan as he finds his way after the death of his dad. Offering prayers for Alma as she finds her way through cancer. Offering prayers that Richard finds sanity, gives me my money, gets help, becomes sober. Prayers for the lonely boredom of my ill health. Prayers for Nick that he feels held and loved as he nears the end of his life. Prayers for Nick Teha. Prayers that the COVID and cold symptoms that I've had for nearly a month pass as quickly as possible. Prayers for my mother. May she and I both feel loved and supported. Offering prayers for Gina, who passed suddenly this week. May she have all that she needs to pass through the bardo with ease. Offering prayers for Maria's mothers for her good health. Offering prayers of healing for the land and water here in Southern California. May all the people here have housing and safety. Offering prayers for Lori and her breathing problems and anxiety. Offering prayers in my creative projects and job search and the health and safety of my friends and family. Offering prayers for Jay and his family and friends as they navigate seeking treatment for his bladder cancer. Offering prayers that I can settle back into my regular practice and let go the agitation of attending to day-to-day politics. Offering prayers so my heart might always be protected and cared for, and may I step into my creative abundance. Offering prayers of gratitude for the spaciousness that I've been able to cultivate from the retreats I've attended this summer. I continue to cultivate that spaciousness within me and share it with all. Prayers for my beloved, may they always be protected and deeply loved. May they have the courage to remember the liberation. May they be free. Offering prayers for all the martyrs and people of Palestine, prayers for all those witnessing the genocide with their wide open hearts, prayers for my Black and brown, trans, and queer community around the world, prayers for all beings who are trying their best, prayers for myself to find paid work that is aligned with my path, and offering prayers for my abandonment wound. May I be able to fill my heart to love others, myself and others. Offering prayers for Dakota, Shane, Cam, Master Joe, Jay, Michelle, Cal, Joey, Raven, Matt, Lucas, Ezra, and an incredible band of folks from different circles who came together to respond to a psych emergency within the trans community and managed a safe transfer to specialized care without inducing further trauma. May they all heal, rest, and come to realize the impact of their expression of community. Offering prayers for abundance for myself and my family and all who need, prayers for the liberation of people everywhere without exception, prayers for my teachers. Offering prayers for my beloved son who suffered a mental health crisis and who is intertwined with the legal system while navigating this crisis. Prayers for my beloved community, my ancestors, guides, and protectors who are holding and keeping us. Prayers for our desired outcomes to manifest. Prayers for our travel on Monday, September 2nd, as we transition to these next steps. Offering prayers for dear Lauren Glenn for her body, spirit, and care. Offering prayers for my uncle Marty that he be completely healed of his cancer. Offering prayers for Beth to be cured in her rare brain disease. For to be cured of her rare brain disease. And that all Sarah's dreams come true. And prayers for Lama Rod's well-being. I continue to offer prayers for my family, for the care and the well-being of my aunt and her son as well, and that our family has the resources to offer the support that my aunt needs in this moment. I continue to offer the prayers that are unspoken, the prayers that have not been articulated, and even the prayers that we don't even know how to pray. I offer those on behalf of our collective. And collectively, we continue to pray for the complete abolition, abolishment of all systems of violence, harm, and oppression, that all beings have what they need to experience deep healing, wellness, connectivity, safety, happiness. May we all achieve awakening as quickly as possible, and may we, as we are doing the work of liberation, may we also at the same time become the medicine that all beings need, including ourselves. May we become our own medicine as well. May we get free as quickly as possible. May it be so. Ashe. And just returning back, just for a few moments to the mantra, returning back to the secret space, the secret home of Medicine Buddha that lives, expresses itself deep within us from the very essence of our minds, from the secret, transcendent experience of emptiness, space, and luminosity. We continue to sing and chant the mantra of Medicine Buddha, continuing to pray for the healing that is most needed for all beings, and the healing that is needed for ourselves as well. Om Lazange Ino So Om Lazange Ino So So Om Zange Kido. So Om Zange Kido. So Om Zange Kido. So Om Zange Kido. So Om Kido. So Om Kido. So Om Kido. So Om 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 So returning. back to this moment, back to the seats, the earth rising to hold all of us, the seat rising to hold you. Coming back into this moment, and once you feel as if you've arrived, slowly beginning to reawaken your bodies. Staying connected to this experience of medicine Buddha, allowing this experience to slowly, on its own time, integrate slowly back into the depth of our experience. And when you're ready, shifting your attention to the chat box and where we will recite Shantideva's prayer in the Bodhisattva's guide. Guide to the Bodhisattva's way of life, guide to the Bodhisattva's way of life by Shantideva. And we'll recite this 3 times. May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. And just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the countless beings, and until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for all those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures, and until they all pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. And finally, may I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures. And until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of all life. May I be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. Okay. Thank you all so much. I'll hold space for maybe like 1 or 2 questions. But I'm not gonna go too much further over time, past time, rather. So if there's a question you want to put in the chat box, or
Folks should be able to unmute themselves as well. So if you just raise your hand, we can go that way. Well, maybe while people percolate, perhaps, I'm just going to drop, first of all, so I don't have to say it again at the end, thank you so much, Lama Rod, for that offering. And I'm just going to drop some information here. I neglected to mention this very cool offering, From Broken Hearts to Spiritual Warriors, an 8-week journey to the path of becoming a new saint with Lama Rod. This offering is an initiation and an opportunity to co-create collective practice in prayer as we come together for the shared purpose of liberation. Throughout this practice journey, we will rely on community, self-exploration, and contemplative and somatic practices to resource in moving along the new saint's path. Sounds a little bit like something we do every week here at Medicine Buddha Land. And of course, if this offering supports your liberation, please consider practicing generosity to help sustain Lama Rod and his work in the world. And of course, lots more information to support your practice in the quick link stock. And anyone have questions? I see 2 hands. Sharon, I believe you're first.
Hi, Lama Rod. Can you say a little bit about what you opened with about how we release everything? And I guess specifically it's about our bodies because I'm dealing with an illness, and that's yeah, yeah. How do we let go of this body while we're in it?
Mhm. Well, I think the question I thought you were gonna ask a question about Brewster's Millions, but like I just got super excited. But anyway, a clarifying questions about Richard Pryor and that pivotal role and Bruce's anyhow, no, for real. To let go. So the thing is, it's when we say let go, I haven't said push away. I didn't say hide. I didn't say get rid of. I said let go. And so what does that mean? Like I will show you. So here's some beautiful medicine that Julie Todd offers me all the time that I use when I sit here. So let's just say this is what we're holding on to. This is the medicine, which it is actually medicine, right? And this is how we approach medicine and healing. We're holding on to it tighter. I mean, it's just tight. No one can come and get this out of our hands. This is how we're living life right now, clutching to everything, our bodies, our health, our money, our good reputation. With someone you just need to give up. You don't have a reputation anymore, right? But like you just hold on to it, right? And when I say letting go, I'm not saying fuck it, because that's aversion. And we're not trying to do that either. When I say let go, I'm actually saying, why don't you just open that palm up, honey? Right? Why don't you just let that roll around? I mean, it's right. Like here it is, right? And I'm moving around through the world. Yeah, it's rolling around, it's in my palm, and oops, there it goes. And that's how we have to move through the world, right? Because we will lose shit. We will lose our health, especially our health, right? That's just what happens in this illusion, right? And so when I say letting go, like if we're struggling with sickness, when I was sick the week before last, right? And I was just really struggling. I was bedridden, kind of sickness. I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to let it go. I'm not fixating on this. It's going to be what it is. I have taken the medicines that I need to take, right? And whatever happens, happens. And not only that, because I'm so extreme, I said, what if I were sick for the rest of my life in the same position? What would that be like? And I train like that in order to let go of my expectations so that I can actually sink deeper into this moment, because the sickness itself is trying to teach me something, but I'm always trying to run away from it because it's so fucking inconvenient. Sickness is so fucking inconvenient because we are busy. We're busy living. We have shit to do. The streets are calling our name. And literally, I was just like, I could be in the streets right now. Right. But no, I'm sick in the bed. And so therefore, if the sickness is here, I'm going to show up and pay attention to the sickness. I'm going to open my palm and let you be there, honey. I'm not going to hold on to you, nor am I going to throw you away. I'm just going to be here. Right? That's it. And there it goes. Oh, well. Right? And that's what I'm talking about. And that's how you get to the final stage of awakening. you know. Once you get to that place, it's like, okay, now I just have to let go of everything. But the last thing you will have to let go of is your desire to get free. And that will be, that won't be so hard. Don't worry, you would have done enough work to get to that last threshold to be like, you know what, I'm just gonna let it go. Because you don't need it anymore. You're holding on to something you don't need because you're at the threshold. You don't need anything else. Once you let go, you're there. Right?
Mm.
So that's what I mean by letting go, letting things be, and then learning how to respond to things. Not just react to, but to respond with care. When you're sick, to respond with care to your body, right? To respond with deep empathy, deep kindness, gentleness, right? To use these moments of sickness to contemplate impermanence, to contemplate death, to think about how there have been countless beings who have been sick, and there will be countless beings waiting to experience sickness. And in that moment, you are among countless beings who are struggling to reclaim wellness and balance. If you don't do the work of showing up to the sickness and letting it teach you, then it's a wasted opportunity. Then you're haunted and plagued, like you're bothered, right? To surrender to the sickness, the medicine emerges from the surrendering. Not the fighting against, but the surrendering. We fight sickness so much, right? You know, this is why I love like herbalism, you know, and this is why, you know, this is such an important part of my life now because when I ally with the plant world, it's a gentleness. It's like, let us tend to the imbalance. We're not going to fight sickness. We're going to tend to it. Even if that sickness is leading us into the transition of death, which is just like transitioning from one world to another, right? So that's the last question. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to leave it there because I'm fading away as I speak. So again, thank you all so much for your practice. You know, and I will see you next week as well. Okay. Thank you all so much. Until we meet again, may you be protected, safe, and may you have everything that you need to get free.